Hi, and welcome to the MySpace podcast. I'm your host, Miley, and today I will be reviewing the book All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is book number 3 of the Naturals novels. It's a lot of N's and S's. Naturals novels. So let's get into it. So this is All In. I give this book a 4.8 out of 5. Maybe a 4.7. It's like 4.8-ish. It's just, there was a lot, and it was kind of crazy, and it got a little confusing by the end. I don't really know what was happening. It definitely became more of like very out there. But it was still good. It was still good. I liked it still. So yeah. The plot. First off, there are 376 pages. I keep going by like this, but like it's easy. You don't really know what that means. So yeah, there's 376 pages in this one. Now, storyline. Okay, and also by there being a lot, there's also a lot that kind of will ruin the plot. So there's not a lot in this beginning part. It's more in the spoilers. So basically, there's this string of murders in Las Vegas, and they're brought in to figure out who the killer is. So Sloane figures out that these murders are following a pattern called the Fibonacci sequence, or like it's also called the Fibonacci spiral. So it's like it's basically where the sums of the first two numbers equal the next number, basically. So like 1, 1, 2, and then it's like 1 and 2 is 3, and so on and so forth. I think, at least my basic understanding of this. But basically, the killer would put the number. So the killer would put the numbers that are next in the sequence on the victim's wrists, and then would also base where their killings are off of the spiral, basically. It's a lot to take in, and it gets a little hard to understand when they're explaining it all. So I just have a basic understanding of it. And then after that, it gets really crazy and more onto the side of things that I can't really understand without giving away I can't really talk about without giving away like half the plot. Like the spoiler part. But I can say that this book is a lot more about Sloane and ties into more of her past. And some of the others' past are also brought into this as well. Not Dean's. Dean is the only one whose past is not really part of this book. So yeah, it's more the others. Starting off with Cassie, our main character. So there's not a lot of like what's the word? Like there's not too much like growth part of it in a way. There's just more like stuff happens to her in this one. So, and I like the focus on the other characters, but there's more about her. So, there's a break in her mom's case. They basically found her mom's skeleton. So yeah, and now that brings in a lot more emotion for her. So she's dealing with that while also dealing with this case and how it's affecting everybody else. And so she's trying not to let it affect her, partly because of something that Leah says, which we'll talk about with Leah. But yeah, it gets to be a lot for her, and she's dealing with that. She's trying to deal with two things at once, and it doesn't always go the right way. Now to a relationship with Dean. I've explained it in one of the shorter videos that I don't really know how to feel about her and Dean's relationship, but that was the beginning, and now that I've read it, I think I'm okay with it. I still feel really bad for Michael, and how it's explained in this book is that he was really only Cassie's first real friend, because she never had friends, and he was the first one that actually broke down all her barriers and, basically made himself her friend. But by that, he also just literally gets friend-zoned, which is really funny. But also really sad. Honestly, it's more sad than it is funny. I don't know why I said it's funny. It was really sad. That was a very emotional part of the book. This book. Dean. So there's not a lot about him, like I said. He was there for Cassie when she needed him, and we see more of his caring side, and that's about it. We see how much he cares about the others and stuff, and he does these little things, but he wasn't a big part of this book. Michael, he also wasn't a big part of this book. We see a little more into him, but not that much. We see his more caring side of Leah. I don't know if they're gonna be a couple later on in this next book. I don't know. I don't really think I want them to be, but they probably will be. So yeah. The main thing about Michael is that what's really been discovered throughout these first 3 books is that he'll make you hit him instead of waiting for you to, so he can control the situation. And by that, as we know, his father is abusive. He went home for the holidays. Do we really need an explanation of what happened to him? Really, nobody else knows except Leah and her, and Cassie. Leah and Cassie, only ones who know. And I'm guessing the reason why he went home to where his father is because he needed a distraction from the pain he was feeling from Cassie not choosing him. So he needed this physical pain to distract him. And then he also buys them a sweet, and some other stuff happened. Yeah, so many things. Leah now. So she, in the beginning of this book, she goes up to Cassie and she's like, I like you and I like how you're making Dean happier and stuff, but it's not your time to have a horrible life and have a messed up life. And Leah figures out about Cassie's mother's case and whatnot, but she literally just says, it's not your time to suffer. And I understand where she's coming from, the others need to be able to have their time to suffer, but also that's not a nice way to say it. You're really just dismissing other people's feelings. She's dismissing Cassie's feelings and stuff. Just in a way, it makes somebody feel like they don't matter, that their feelings don't matter. I don't think that's how Cassie felt, but that's how I would feel. Because Cassie was just she just opened my eyes, and I'm and I think that's because Cassie knows why people do the things they do, and that's just Leah's personality. I just have not been able to get in touch with Leah's personality. There are times when I like it and times when I don't like it, and right now it's not a like. But then at the end of the book, Leah's just it's now your time to suffer, you can have a bad life and stuff. I'm that's nice of you. But it's just hard. Sloane, the person we've been waiting for this whole time. So we learn who her father is. Her father is rich and owns a hotel/resort in Las Vegas. Of course he is. He also has a son that would make his son Sloane's stepbrother. Now, her father never wanted her. Really, he was just not. He was a no. And all Sloane has ever wanted was for him to see her. And for him to listen to her, to like her, and she just wants his attention and approval and stuff, and that he's not going to give that to her. She wants to make him proud. And that's never going to happen. It doesn't happen in this book either. And something bad comes out of it. And she also wants her stepbrother to like her. And also wants him not to be like her father. Well, like their father. And yeah. And her brother does like her. And does know about her. He didn't know who it was until he saw her, but yeah. But it's nice to see Sloan. Sloan went through it all in this one. Yeah, because she found all these patterns, right? But then something would happen that would throw it off, and she's just messed up. She's like, this isn't how it's supposed to go, and she doesn't know what's gonna happen next for her. It was a whole lot for her, and her father wasn't listening to her, and of course something bad happens, and it was just really hard for her. But she had the others, and they helped her through it. Judd. I want to go a little bit about him because this book, he gets a little bit more about it. He's a part of this case a little bit. So we see how much he wants to protect them and doesn't want them to end up like his daughter. So it's partly because of this case that you see all these things happen. You see him being more protective and stuff. And I'll get more into this into spoiler section, at least a little bit. So yeah, this all takes a toll on him. Because this case is, about them in a way. Spoilers now. Spoilers. Okay, let's get into this to start. We're going to start the spoilers section off with the plot. So let's do this, because this plot, yes. So basically, Sloan hacks into a bunch of police databases, like the FBI and stuff, and realizes that there is another case from a couple years back that fits the dates on when this case that they're working on. She figures that out by hacking. Love Sloan. Now they're all trying to figure out who the killer is, and they're all like, something's missing. Cassie is missing something throughout this whole book, and she doesn't know what it is. And then there's a lot of times where we're just sitting around, and it's a lot of filler stuff. But yeah, they can't really do anything. Then Sloan looks more into it because they figure something else out, and they realize that there are even more cases, more than they thought there would be, and even more after that. So they're like, nobody old enough can do this. There's nobody that's old enough to be able to do this, because they find it and it's like the 1950s, so that person would probably be really old. So they're like, oh, we're probably dealing with a copycat. But then they're like, but then Leah is the one, she's all like, maybe dealing with a cult. So now they're dealing with a cult that's been around forever and is really good at hiding. And also, they connect these cases that they found, also with the Nightshade case, the one that Judd's daughter Scarlett was killed in. So now that's brought in. So that's how Judd is brought into this, and is really protective of the whole group, and is like, you can't do anything, I want you guys gone, but that doesn't really happen, because he wants to send them home, but then some stuff happened, so they have to stay in Vegas, but they're in a safe house. But also, Michael gets brought into this because the killer marks him. Yeah. And they've also realized by this point that the killer's trying to prove themselves to this cult, most likely, in some way. Either they're trying to join the cult, or proving their power in a way as the highest member or something. Blah, 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 But, so the killer targets Michael, right? But then, because they left, the killer has to deviate and decides to kill the person they really wanted to kill. And guess who that person was? Aaron Shaw, Sloane's brother. So he's dead. Sloane's dealing with because she's also angry at her father because her father didn't listen to her, because she literally told him, she was like, it's gonna happen in the ballroom on January 12th, you need to listen to me, and he doesn't, and look where that got him. And also, they realized who the killer was, right when the killer killed Aaron. So, yeah, not their best. They also realize during the killer's interrogation that Cassie's mother has a connection to this cult. I figured it out, but also I figured it out because I had a plot spoiler a while ago, and that's why it's taken me so long to read finish this book series. Yeah, I don't think you would. I don't think it would really be figured out. I'm gonna talk about that later. No, not yet. So they catch Nightshade because Cassie remembered what he looked like. Look, Cassie has seen him back in Quantico, where their little house is, where the house is, that they all live in. She's seen him there, and she's also seen him in Las Vegas, because he's basically watching her. There's a reason why, and other reasons why, it's a whole lot, but they catch him, and he wants to see Cassie, wants to talk to her. Why would he want to do that? And this then, also, Nightshade also poisons Briggs, but Briggs is fine and is supposed to make a full recovery, if not slowly, but he will live. Anyways, that whole conversation leads them on a path that opens even crazy plot twists coming. I'm gonna talk about that at the very end of this, so in like a minute or 30 seconds. Now on to Leah, because that was the end of the book, basically. Very end, when that plot twist came in, you're just like, what? Leah. So, they're playing Truth or Dare at one point, and they're all like telling they're telling each other these truths hidden in lies and stuff, so like they're not full out saying it, but other people know. So Leah's is, she grew up in a cult, and she killed someone when she was 9, and the other one is that she's considering shaving Michael's head in the middle of the night. Now, Cassie's stuck on this throughout the whole book, and Leah was also the one who brought up that this group that they're dealing with is probably a cult. So, my guess is that she most likely grew up in a cult, because she knows all of these things. And then also, there's a chance she killed someone when she was 9, because I feel like she may have done that. It's not, like, crazy for her, too. Anyways, major plot spoiler. Major. If you don't listen at your own regard, because this gives away the whole the whole book, basically. This is the reason why I didn't read. It's taken me so long. Also, don't read the summaries of the books, because that gives away the ending. Yeah. So, like, don't read the summary of Bad Blood, which is the next one, because it gives it away. Like, that was an accident. I went, that's nice. Anyways, back to the spoiler. This is about Cassie. So, with Nightshade, when she saw him twice in Las Vegas, actually. But each time that she saw him in Las Vegas, he was with a little girl. She was about 3 or 4, and she had red hair. Red hair. No. After they catch him, and Cassie goes there because, he wants to talk to her. And then he leads them on the path that leads them to find this little girl. It turns out, ready for this, that the little girl's mother is Cassie's mother. I thought she was dead. Why can't people stay dead? And also, what's confusing me so much is that Cassie's mother would have gone back for her. Like, she just seemed like the type of person. And also, this is when things start getting confusing, so then I'm like, what the hell is happening? I'm like, what is happening? Because is said, what Nightshade said is that everyone has a choice to go with the group, and Cassie's mother would have chosen to kill the other woman in the group to join the group, and by that she leaves Cassie behind. And I feel like she just wouldn't leave Cassie behind with nothing, right? She just left Cassie. Like, she would never leave Cassie willingly, so I'm like, is this really a choice, or was she forced into this? So I need the next book. I need to start reading it. I need to figure this out. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. It was a lot. And it became a lot more. That's why it doesn't get a 5, because it was a lot. It gets so out there, and I'm scared for this next book, honestly. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how it'll end. Anyways, this next book is Bad Blood, and it is 509 pages. So yeah, that's about like 100 to 200 more pages. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully. Please be good. Anyways, that is about it. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you'll stay with me for the next one. Bye!